Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Terry Fletcher.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 What the Football podcast by Steel City Underground. My name is Terry Fletcher. As you can tell, I've kind of lost my voice this week, been a little bit under the weather, but as they say, the show must go on, so hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. So let's start with the disappointment for us anyway. Us Steeler fans, the 30-7 loss to San Francisco. Before I go any further, realize that we're only week one. Everyone needs to just chill out for a second. We played a very good team, and 50% of teams right now in the NFL are 0-1. Now, in saying that, there's a lot of things to kind of unpack here, and I know that Joe and Zach have already done a lot, but I'm doing What the Football. Like, why are we doing that? That's what the Football is. Why is any team doing that? So I don't just focus on the Steelers, but I'm going to start with them since that's still fresh in my mind. First of all, why are we doing a jet sweep on the second play of the game? Has Matt Canada not learned anything? That's what you do when you need something to kind of, change the spark, change the momentum, figure out what's going on. Not something to do right at the beginning. So that, and they read it right away. That did not help. Also, we've got some issues where it doesn't look like anybody practiced since last season. I don't know if anybody saw that as well, but you can't always say, preseason shows you what it's going to be like in the season. Obviously, it does not. And because we went for it, at fourth and short, that's why we ended up with 7 points when Chris Boswell didn't get an opportunity. So we really weren't at, the 13 that we probably could have had. I think we really could have had probably more like 20 points, but nothing was going to stop San Francisco in this game. I mean, consider the highlights here. Brock Purdy went 19 for 29, 220 yards with 2 touchdowns, but the more glaring stat would have been Christian McCaffrey. Yes, I do have him in my fantasy team, where he went 22 attempts and 152 yards. In comparison, Kenny, 31 for 46. So, he is efficient, but he had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, which is not good. But think of all of our running backs. We've got Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and combined, they went 9 attempts and 39 yards, no touchdowns, and that was it. I mean, we only had 41 yards total. And so you can't win games if you don't also have a run game to help complement your passing game. And, Kenny was off, our team was off. I'm not too happy with Patrick Peterson making a promise that he's going to pick somebody off. Yeah, him and Levi Wallace got burned a couple of times, and, you need to back up what you're going to say. But all hope is not lost. I'm very concerned because Deontay Johnson, although he didn't play his best either, a couple of passes were behind him. I'm not a fan. I mean, I've never made that, never been silent about that. I just think I can't get over the fact that he drops all the time. But in the game, he just was very pedestrian, and Kenny threw it behind him a couple of times. But now he has a groin injury, so he's going to be out a little bit of time. They haven't said how much yet. My saddest loss right now is Cam Hayward. I mean, he is 30, 31 years old, and it's tough to have a loss on someone that now has to have surgery that's over 30 in his position. And so our other players are going to really have to step it up on defense. But it is nothing compared to, let's move on now. What was the game that shocked everyone? Well, it might be different for everyone here, but for me, What the Football had to be the Monday Night Football game. So yes, I'm kind of pivoting really quick to the Buffalo and I almost said Green Bay. Buffalo and Jets game. I mean, it was so hyped the entire offseason about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is, going into his cave of darkness, deciding to leave Green Bay, going to the Jets, saying he took less money, talking about it on Pat McAfee. It's just like as soon as they got him, they signed Lazard, signed Cobb, a couple of his pieces. Nathaniel Hackett that, he seems to like. I'm not sure why, because he sucked in Denver. But just looking at all those things, and seeing that they were immediately said, oh, Super Bowl bound. Well, they definitely would have had a shot at having a decent season. I don't know if I would have called it Super Bowl, but 4 plays into it, Aaron goes down and he's sacked and he tears his Achilles. And there's a video out there, if you're not faint heart, that you can see where it actually pulled. You can see the snap in the area by the ankle and shin. It's awful. So, obviously prayers go out to Aaron. You never want to see any quarterback, any player get hurt like that. And he did, and he's 39, he's going to be 40 in December. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I can't imagine he's going to go out that way. I know Robert Saleh today, their coach, basically said, why are you guys writing our obituary? He's one part of, this great team. Well, remember, you've also got Zach Wilson. Did he pull out the win? Yes. But how did he pull out a win in that Monday night game? I don't know about you guys, but we watched till the end. And actually, I got up really quick to get a drink of water when they went to overtime. And I come back and it's over because the Bills went 3 and out, which was just dumb how they played that. First a penalty and then running the ball. I'm thinking, why are you doing that? Well, maybe it's because Josh Allen had 3 interceptions and a fumble. All their turnovers were on him. It's just like what happened to him last year in a loss. So, did the Jets win or did the Buffalo Bills lose? And I keep hearing these things about asterisks because they lost Aaron Rodgers and all this stuff. You know what? Winners find a way to win. And as much as a Steeler fan, I am not a Jets fan, they won the game. So let's leave it at that, see what else they're going to be able to do. I would be shocked if they didn't bring in a veteran to back up Zach Wilson, but you have to be ready to play, and we'll see what happens. So what else happened around the league that was just very strange? Well, how about the onside kick for New Orleans to start? Sean Payton, we know that you are now in Denver, but did you leave your playbook behind there or something? I thought that was the strangest thing I've seen from a team in a long time. So that didn't work out for them. It was read by the defense as soon as they tried it, and that hurt. However, again, a win is a win, and the Saints did actually pull it out and ended up beating the Titans 16-15. Now, I guess I don't want to call it train wreck because they've got the Commanders Cardinals. First of all, Cardinals do not have a quarterback. I love rocket scientist Josh Dobbs, but he's not a starter. He's perennial backup, and bless his heart, he did his best, and they said he's starting again. But he was able to get the team to 16 points, but the Washington Commanders actually won that game 20-16, and a lot of it happened at the end. We kept seeing it going back and forth, but that was one anybody could have won that game. The Packers-Bears, I think everyone bet that the Bears are going to finally win because when Rodgers was part of the Packers, he owned that team, they say, and I'm air quoting. Well, the Packers with Jordan Love pulled it out 38-20, and it was definitely some highlights there to see on that game. It was just kind of interesting to see how it all played out, but good for that team for stepping it up and without Aaron Rodgers able to pull out a win. So here's an interesting WTF moment. So, or I should say collective bit of trivia. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and let's just throw in Daniel Jones in there. Collectively, their salaries our contracts are $950 million. That's almost $1 billion. And week 1, they threw for 1 touchdown collectively. Really? Yes. And obviously we know that Cincinnati lost to Cleveland. That to me was more of a shocker than the Steelers losing to 49ers. That to me could have gone either way. We were hoping to win, but weren't quite confident. Everybody's like, oh, well, Kansas City is going to the next Super Bowl, and then they lose to the Lions, but they lost without Kelsey. They lose without Chris Jones, who, it's a bad optic. What the football people, when you go and sit in the stands, when you're disputing your contract, you're not out there with your team, you're still under the last year of your contract, and you've got the Sopranos on either side of you flanked. What the heck is that? And that's definitely a what the football thing. I didn't like that at all. But also, when you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, Jawan Taylor, what the heck? He kept lining up and getting offsides. He was lining up like he was a slot receiver. not where he should have been. So it was it was kind of absurd to see the fact that the refs were never calling that. People were like, well, week 1, no, call it. It shouldn't be just one person or one team that gets favoritism out there. We've had enough of baseball season and the umpires with the strike zone. Can we please call what's supposed to be called when it comes to the penalties? So let's talk about that Tennessee game. What were they thinking? They were down 4, and on 4th and 6, they kicked a field goal with 2 minutes remaining. What were they thinking was going to happen? They were going to get the ball back? I mean, you look at the statistics. They actually flashed him on the screen. They had a, 36% chance if they went for it, and they had a 26% chance to win if they went for the field goal. Absolutely stupidest play calling I've ever seen. Why would you do that? If you need 4 points, it means that you need a touchdown, not a field goal, especially with no time left or very little time left. And what did you do? You lost by 1. Oh my gosh, I need to change my profession. I need to be an offensive coordinator. I'm just saying, I'm putting my resume in tomorrow. When it came to some of the other final scores, we've got Dolphins, Chargers. With Tyreek Hill into it, I'm not surprised. 36-34 though. Somebody's got to work on their defense. Eagles, Patriots, boy, Jalen Hurts didn't really do much at all. I mean, they won 25-20, but for those of you that had him on fantasy, did you get more than 12 points? And then Rams, Seahawks, we haven't heard anything about Matt Stafford, but they pulled off a 30-13 win over the Seahawks. The Cowboys-Giants game, okay, raise your hand. How many of you turned it off when it was 27-0? Yeah, 40-0. Yeah, they put up a 40-burger against the Giants. Talk about feeling better about my Steelers team when the Cowboys do that against the Giants. I think the most disappointing thing for most people was the fact that around 30-0, the Cowboys pulled out their starters, and you should have seen X, formerly Twitter, blow up about fantasy football. You guys, the players don't care about that. They only care about the wins. The owners don't care about that, which surprises me that they're invested in fantasy football with DraftKings, but okay. Anyway, yeah, 40-0. Of course, they're going to pull out their starters. But I won one of my leagues because of that by 1.5 points. So it was kind of funny, but wasn't supposed to. And then I said, hey, what happened to Dak? What happened to CeeDee Lamb? And they're like, yeah, he got sat before because theirs up so far. I'm like, oh, sweet. And so here we go coming into week 2 now. What can we expect? Well, let's hope that the Steelers basically hit reset. It was such a terrible game. There's not a lot you can do except hit reset and hopefully come back and have a different game plan, have a better game plan, and understand your opponent, because we are playing on Monday Night Football, which means we have an extra day. We're playing a division rival in the Browns. And as Mike Tomlin put it on his Tomlin Tuesday, it starts with Nick Chubb, their running back. And so we need to be able to stop him, unlike we were able to stop Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers. So let's hope we've hit reset. Let's hope that our What the Football moments are more positive, and that we can hopefully get the score back to even as far as our statistics and get 1-1 as of week 2. So everyone, I'm going to go rest my voice. Thanks for listening to the WTF podcast week 1, and I'll be back with you next week. Make it a great day, and thanks for listening to Steel City Underground. I'm Terry Fletcher.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.